one. Stop Sports Radio.
Don't touch me. I'll beat your brains out.
I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl. Let's get ready to rumble.
I'm Sonny Lipton. I'm Jack Shipley. There's no one like me. I'm from the Air Force. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat it. Shadow Frazier. Shadow Frazier.
I think that the NFL knows what Randy Moss has done with marijuana.
If you guys only knew.
The NFL knows what Randy Moss does with marijuana.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Good morning. And thank you for joining me.
Top of the morning, everybody. Those of you already on Facebook Live, good morning. The millions obviously watching around the world. Live from Hollywood, California. This is Tough Love. I'm Alistair Conrath. Hopefully everybody is having a good start to their Sunday. Lots to obviously get to. It's week 5 in the NFL. Huge game for the Vikings. This might be must-win situation. They lose this game today to the Eagles. They fall to 1-3-1. With Cardinals and Detroit the next 2 weeks, it's all is not lost. But this is a big one. So get to that in a bit. Get to, in my opinion, the biggest game of the week, which is the Jacksonville Jaguars at Kansas City Chiefs, the unstoppable force versus the immovable object that is Jacksonville's defense in Kansas City at Arrowhead. I would give a lot to be at that game. So we'll get to that. But obviously, did you see the fight last night? Oh my God. Allison, good morning, beautiful. Chad, Justin, the rest of you, good morning. It's amazing the dynamic of the fight. And I'm obviously talking about UFC 229, Conor McGregor, Kahbib Nurmagomedov. It's a tough one. But, the card in general was incredible. But obviously the main event was such a great fight, excluding the melee that happened afterwards. With the post-fight and Kahbib losing his collective shit and jumping out of the ring and fighting Conor's entourage. That was insane. The fight before it with Anthony Pettis and Tony Ferguson was I'm telling people at the bar, I'm like, this could be fight of the year. And for whatever reason, Pettis' corner stopped it after the second. He had a gash. There's no doubt. He had a gash. But Tony was cut up too, blood everywhere. And it didn't look, Pettis was getting beat, don't get me wrong. But it's not like he was, out cold, done, not fighting back. He was fighting back. He was doing some stupid moves. But then all of a sudden it ended. So what went from fight of the year all of a sudden was a bit anticlimactic, in my opinion. So that fight ended with Ferguson winning, and hopefully he's going to fight Kahbib, or there's a rematch with Conor and Kahbib. But, the spectacle that was, even before the fight, Conor comes out first, and the Irish crowd is absolutely gonzo. And, Conor and all of his bluster comes out, and everything is just, nuts. And then there's like, I don't know what song Kahbib came out to, but it wasn't like get you going music. It was almost like, I don't know. It was soft. It was soft, soothing music. But it was once the bell rang, I was super surprised. Obviously, the narrative going into the fight, Conor's going to try and keep it on the feet. Khabib's going to try and take it to the ground, and that is what was going to happen. And that was it makes sense. Both are the best at what they do. I was so surprised at Khabib's stand-up, like his striking ability. I was taken aback. I really was. I thought, Conor, if I told everybody, if it lasts or if it stops between the first and second round, within those 2 rounds, Conor wins. If it goes 3 through 5, Khabib wins. That is what ended up happening. Khabib submitted him rear naked choke in the 4th, but it didn't go fully like I thought it would. Definitely Khabib got him to the ground. The first and second, the first round was kind of back and forth a little bit. And then in the second round, Khabib nailed him and put him on the ground, got on top of him. And I'm talking was standing on top of him, throwing haymakers, and 80% of them connected. And how Conor was able to muster through that and fight through and come back and win the 3rd round, it's a testament to who Conor is and such a warrior that he is. But I thought they were going to stop it. I thought Khabib was beating him so bad when he was on his back that it was just going to be stopped. Like I say, Conor withstood it. And not only did he withstand, he comes back in the 3rd and wins the 3rd round. And then in the 4th, goes to the mat again. Like a lot of the match, it was on the ground, and it's insane. I doubt, and I have yet to see any pressers yet, but I doubt Conor's going to give Khabib any pat on the back of, yeah, he's really hard on the ground. He's really hard. But there was no getting up once Khabib got Conor down. I mean, Khabib is just on top, and it's not happening. And so eventually in the 4th, Conor slipped. Khabib locked in the rear naked choke, and that was it. Conor tapped out. Now, that's the killer. So the fight itself was really good. 4 rounds of, just unbelievable activity and tension and whatnot. And then after the fight, immediately after the fight, Khabib submits him, stands up, talks shit to him, and then Conor's corner is yelling at Khabib. Khabib takes his mouthpiece, chucks it at Conor's corner, and then hops the fence and jumps into the crowd to go after Conor's people. As you can imagine, all hell breaks loose. There's fight outside, and then 2 dudes jump into the ring, hop the fence, and start beating Conor. Like, obviously, 2 of Khabib's dudes jump the fence and go into the ring and start beating Conor for 5 seconds. It wasn't anything, nutso, but it went loco. And I'm pretty positive Khabib's going to go to jail. And supposedly they were withholding his check last night. I mean, it got bad. It got really, really bad. But I will say this. Americans' reaction to last night is all because our society is, in my opinion, and I've said this before, it's nothing new. I feel like we are becoming soft. The Russians and Ireland, not so much. Ireland, the Irish have so much pride. It's admirable. I mean, obviously, there's a hooligan mentality when it comes to it, but they have such a love and pride for Ireland. It's insane. You couple that with the Russians and how, like, I mean, it's the Russians. They're not soft. Let's just put it that way. And so you get those two together, and it's not like, it's almost like gang mentality, like mafia mentality. There's a fight that happened last night, but it's way bigger than that. Americans are like, I can't believe he would do that after the fight and all this type of stuff happened. But this is, again, bigger than what happened last night, bigger than the fight, the lead up with Conor throwing the chair in through the glass, and breaking the glass on the bus and people getting hurt, fights being canceled at that UFC. Before that, Kahbib confronting Lebdev, whatever the hell that dude's name is, and that is why Conor and everybody came from Ireland on a private jet to confront Kahbib and his team. Like, it is a mob gang mentality that, yeah, they fought last night in the ring, but this was real buildup in the sense that they don't like each other. Their teams don't like each other, and it's a real respect thing. Like, Americans look at it as, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And those guys, even today, are like, this isn't over. This isn't over. Kahbib kicked the shit out of Conor last night. In the ring, he dominated. Conor won the third round, but aside from that, he got dominated. And it was amazing to watch Kahbib be so well-rounded. Granted, he is relentless when it comes to the ground game. I mean, there is no getting up. They call it chain wrestling, where once you shoot in for a leg or something like that, a lot of people, if they don't get it, they quit. Kahbib it's chain. You continue move after move after move. Just like there's combinations in boxing, that is what chain wrestling is. And Kahbib is the best on the planet at doing it, and he is relentless, and once he gets on top of you, it's over. Again, I was more impressed. We knew he could do that. I was more impressed with his stand-up game. He stood for long periods at a time trading with arguably the best striker in UFC, in Conor McGregor. That was what was so amazing to me, is Kahbib stood his own on his feet. We all knew Conor didn't stand a chance if it got to the ground, and Kahbib proved that. But for Kahbib to do well on his feet and not get knocked the fuck out, that was shocking. He actually, in my opinion, won on the feet. It was incredible. Wow. Where's my green screen? It's right there. I turned it around. I have such, I'm not even going to show it because I'm so embarrassed as to the setup that I have right now. I'm trying to get that little piece right there, just the desk and the jersey that I've had since I was 4 years old, something like that, which it fits my friend Ashley just perfect. It's pretty funny. But that's all I want. And I don't know how to, like, zoom in close enough. Trust me, I am not the AV audio visual video dude. I'm not. I'll figure it out. I promise you I will figure it out, hopefully by next week. And it will just be me in front of that desk and the jersey up top. And hopefully that's it. I'm trying to figure it out. Anyway, so that was a fight. I would love to see a rematch. I would love to see a rematch. I don't necessarily know if it would be any different. That's the problem. I'm more intrigued as to see what happens with these two clans outside of the ring. I think that's the most fascinating part. The fight last night was a microcosm of what this is. They do not like each other, and not just Conor and Kahbib. Their people don't like each other. So I'm so intrigued to see what happens from here on out. Kahbib might be in jail right now. I don't know if he's in jail right now or not. But it is me too, Lee. Lee just said he can't wait to see it happens next too. I don't know if he's in jail yet or not. It's the same thing with like Conor in New York when he threw the chair through the bus window. You know, he didn't. I don't think he immediately went to jail. I think he might have went to booking. He got, posted bail, went to court, blah, blah, blah. I have a feeling that is going to be what happens with Kahbib. You cannot hop a fence, go into civilian crowd, and just start beating the shit out of people without assault charges, certain consequences to come from that. But like I say, the fight itself was a microcosm. There's more shit that's going to go down, and I can't wait to see what becomes of it. As for fights, I'd love to see Kahbib versus Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson is just nuts. He's so good. Max Holloway is another dude who'd be fun to see. Tyron Woodley, if Kahbib wanted to go up in weight, that would be the greatest wrestling match there could possibly be. Tyron Woodley's arguably the best. Kahbib is arguably the best. They're one weight division apart. I don't know if they can do a catch weight in UFC or if it's ever been done, but that would be incredible to see Tyron Woodley, who everybody wrote off when he faced Darren Till and schooled Till, and versus Kahbib. That would be epic. So really, really, Dana White said it was a bad look for UFC last night. There couldn't have been anything better for the UFC than to have what happened last night. It was perfect for them. This is going to drum up the biggest hoopla that the sport has ever seen. Media is salivating, just talking about it. What's going to happen next? There's so much good. Granted, it's a black eye that much, but it's not, that was a great thing for the UFC last night. Okay, moving on. Week 5, the second quarter of the season begins today. Actually, it began Thursday with the Patriots' ass whooping of the Colts. Speaking of which, real quick, and I mentioned it last week. I love how everybody always writes off the Patriots, right? And I know everybody loves to hate the Patriots. But they just got Edelman back. They've got Gordon, who's getting more acclimated, Gronk, Hogan, the running backs, Michelle, over 100 yards again, and James White. They're the Patriots, and they're going to be fine. And, in fact, I think they are going to steamroll from here on out up until they face a squad like Jacksonville, somebody with a defense who can actually match up, get to the quarterback, possibly frustrate Brady. That's the only way. Otherwise, Brady's just going to sit back and be like, oh, look at all these people I have to throw to. It wasn't like that 2 weeks ago, granted, but now everybody's back. And it's the same old Patriots. It's the same old Patriots. As for your Minnesota Vikings, that is a Chuck Foreman shirt right there somewhere. This is there's a part of me that doesn't even want to watch today's game against the Eagles. Obviously, it is where the massacre took place in the NFC Championship game between the Vikings and the Eagles. Last year, a 38-7 drilling by the Eagles after the Vikings went up 7-0, and then the pick 6 that Keenum threw, and the game spiraled out of control. So, the Vikings stand at 1-2-1, slowly falling apart. The Vikings have two defensive ends that are active today on the team. Everson Griffin obviously is dealing with some mental issues. He's out. Tayshaun Bauer is out. They had to call some guy up from the practice squad I mean, things are not looking great. Trey Waynes is out at corner, which I could not be more happy about. He's got a concussion. Hopefully that lasts the rest of his career and he never plays again. And not wishing death on the guy. I just hope he never plays in a Vikings uniform again. That's all. With that said, Mike Hughes, first-round pick, hopefully will take Trey Wayne's spot on the outside. I'm assuming Xavier Rhodes will cover Alshon Jeffrey, and Mike Hughes will get whoever's on the other side. Mackenzie Alexander will be the nickel. Hopefully Anthony Barr won't be covering anybody because he will get roasted like he did last week against the Rams. And I don't know. Offensively, our offensive line has given up. Think about this. The Vikings have given up 25 more pressures on the quarterback than the next closest team. I mean, think about that. The offensive line is in shambles. The running game sucks. We're 4 games in. Dalvin Cook doesn't have 100 yards rushing yet, sitting at 98. I mean, passing game's great. It's great. Thielen and Diggs are rocking. Thielen is the first person, I want to say, since Randy Moss in 2007 to have 100 yards in each of his first 4 games. So that's good. Diggs obviously is great. The passing game is fine, except Kirk Cousins getting lambasted every time he drops back. I just say, Carson Wentz is back. Their defense is pretty legit. I don't know. I mean, Philly had a tough loss last week against Tennessee. And so who knows? Who knows? Maybe, if it was in Minnesota, I'd feel better about it. But quite honestly, Buffalo was in Minnesota and beat the shit out of the Vikings. Starting at the beginning of training camp with Sperano dying, the offensive line coach, now Everson Griffin having mental issues, the offensive line dropping like flies, injuries. It's hard to be optimistic. I'm sorry. I'm the realist. I've said this forever, and this is tough love. I just don't see rosy pastures for the Vikings. I just don't see it. Justin says 31-17 Eagles. I could see something like that. I mean, think about the defense real quick. The defense for the Vikings has been absolute garbage. The defense, number 1 in the league last year. I think they're 23rd right now. I mean, Elise says we got to run the ball. Absolutely. Yeah, take some pressure off Kirk. The thing about the Vikings is their offensive line is set up to run the football. They're not the best pass blocking offensive line. I still question Remmers moving to guard. Why would you sign a right tackle, a career right tackle, who's decent at the position, pay him a lot of money, and then move him to right guard, a position he's never played? Jason, I did talk about the fight. The first 15 minutes, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But that's something that mystifies me. I understand everybody thinks offensive linemen are interchangeable. But this guy has played right tackle his whole career. Why are you going to put him in right guard? He's, just so you could put Rashad Hill at right tackle, who's not that good. There's a lot of things that I think people take for granted in NFL. Kicker, obviously. Vikings learned the hard way already this year what a kicker means, right? And offensive linemen, I truly believe, aside from the greats, they're just, oh, no, you can, just slide over to center. No, just move over to tackle. Move over to guard. It's like, this isn't easy to do. It's just not easy to do. And I think the Vikings are really playing with fire and doing something that isn't necessarily smart. It's hard for me right now to be positive for the Vikings, as you can tell. I don't see us winning in Philadelphia. Like I mentioned earlier at the top, the only silver lining that the Vikings have right now is that they've got Arizona and then Detroit to follow. So will do, Jason. Absolutely. Love you back. That's the only thing that they have going. If they go 1-3-1 today, hopefully, because I can't get Buffalo out of my mind. As much as I should move on, I can't get that out of my head. So to think like, oh, we got Arizona and then we got Detroit. We should win those two games. And, if we lose today, we'll be 3-3-1. Everybody pump the brakes. It'll be all right. It's like, you can't guarantee that. What if Josh Rosen has a great game? Josh Allen torched the Vikings, a rookie in Minnesota, just killed us. Who's saying Josh Rosen can't do the same? And then Matt Stafford, he's a good quarterback. The wheels, I think I mentioned it last week. This is very much like an acid trip the Vikings are on right now. Like, they are teetering on the brink of falling off the precipice and really having a bad trip. And it's getting really close. They lose today. They go and limp in to that Arizona game. There's no guaranteeing a win over Arizona. I could see David Johnson lighting the Vikings defense up. I could see Josh Rosen and Larry Fitzgerald connecting, lighting the defense up. This isn't, I think NFL, the parity is beautiful, right? And every year, season to season, it's different. And just like 2009, when Favre came and we went to the NFC Championship game and it was insane, the next year, Vikings brought everybody back and ended up going 6-10. Favre gets knocked out, retires. Like, the wheels can fall off quick. And it unfortunately feels like that's happening right now. I hope it doesn't. Obviously, I hope it doesn't. I'm a Vikings fan. I'm a fan. I'm also a realist. I should change the name of this show to the Sports Realist. That's what I should do. Or the Rub, the Sports Rub. It's just, what do you do? I got about 2.5 minutes left, 3 minutes left. I want to touch real quick on the game of the week. Jags, Chiefs. This is like for a football fan because everybody loves the Chiefs right now, right? Everybody loves the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is unstoppable. Keep in mind, if that hook and ladder worked last week for Denver, Kansas City would be 3-1. Everybody would have been talking about, oh, Denver got just enough pressure to disrupt Mahomes. Being that Mahomes won and that hook and ladder didn't work, everybody's talking about, oh, Mahomes, he's still this golden child, so forth. They have yet to see a defense like Jacksonville. And at every level, Jacksonville is lights out. And we're talking, this is going to be, just amazing. Blaine, watching this acid trip. Good to hear from you, Blaine. I love it. Yeah. What? Anyway, I feel like, only because it's in Arrowhead, the Chiefs are probably going to pull it out. I don't know. Seriously, this is just the greatest offense, greatest defense as it sits right now. I couldn't be more excited. I'm more excited to watch this way more than I am to watch the Vikings and Eagles. Way more. Both games are not local here either, which pisses me off because I have to go to a bar or pirate it on Cody, which I have no issue doing. I just don't know if it's going to come through or not. But either way, I'm excited. My boy Malik Jackson hopefully will disrupt the Kansas City offense. I want Jacksonville to win. You guys know me. I'm a defensive guy. I want Jacksonville to win.
seconds.
10 seconds. I love you guys. Have a great Sunday fun day. Drive fast. Take chances. Tough Love is out. I'll see you on Tuesday night for the recap. See you.